and welcome back to the Nourish Your Nervous System series. This is part 5 in the series. If you haven't caught the first 4 videos, go ahead and hit pause on this one and go catch the first 4 so that you're all caught up in the series. This series is based off of my brand new book that's just been released called Nourish Your Nervous System. It is a holistic guide for sustainable nervous system regulation and healing. And it is a very deep dive into the framework of what makes us up as whole persons and how we can nourish each aspect of our framework so that we are more wholly nourished. In today's video, I am going to be talking about listening to your body. And just listen to your body is a phrase that I'm sure you've heard many practitioners and coaches say on Instagram, TikTok, anywhere on social media. Is just listen to your body, listen to your body, listen to your body. And if you're anything like me, when you first started hearing that phrase, just listen to your body, the question was, okay, well, what does that even mean? Like, what does it mean to listen to my body? I don't even know what that means. We live in a chronically disconnected society, and many of us are heads that are attached to bodies, but we're walking around in our heads, only seeing life through the filter of our thoughts and our overthinking minds that tend to catastrophize and ruminate and only notice negative things and have sort of a doom and gloom mindset without also remembering to drop into the body and be in our bodies, or what's called embodied. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what it actually means to listen to your body. And if you don't want to wait for the rest of the Nourish Your Nervous System video series, you want to cut right to the chase and get into the book, you can find my brand new book, Nourish Your Nervous System, at lindseylockett.com/nourish. All right, let's dive in. So what does listening to your body actually mean? Let's back up a little bit. Before we can even start talking about why it's so important to reestablish or establish a connection with our bodies for the very first time, it's really crucial that we understand why that connection was severed in the first place. So when we were growing up, our needs for relational, emotional, physical, and even spiritual nourishment often were not met. And even though those needs weren't met by people outside of ourselves, we did not have the developmental ability to understand that the absence of connection and nourishment wasn't our fault. When we are in the experience of childhood and we have a parent or caregiver who is emotionally detached or physically absent or is emotionally neglecting us or something like that, we don't have the ability as 2-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds to go, oh, my mom or my dad must really be going through a hard time and that's why they can't connect to me. The only thing that we know is that their absence, whether physical or emotional, registers as a threat to our survival in our little child bodies. And so the child then will do anything that it takes to reestablish that connection, because the connection to the parent, particularly to the mother, is literally a life or death situation for the child. The absence of that connection feels like the threat of death to a child's body. When we couldn't recognize their disconnection or their separation from us wasn't our fault, we then internalized this belief that, and it is subconscious, this belief that, well, there must be something wrong with me. I'm flawed. I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. My behavior is disappointing or disagreeable to them. And that's why they've pulled that connection away from me. And while that may have been true, what you need to understand is that developmentally, as a child, you're not responsible for making your parents happy so that they will keep that connection and that attachment. You don't have that capability, nor should you be responsible for that. It is the parent's responsibility to maintain as much of a consistent attachment, attunement, and co-regulation with the child as possible. But so many of us didn't have that experience growing up. And if that's you, I see you, I am you. So as we internalize this belief of this separation must mean that I've done something wrong, that they're disappointed in me, they don't approve of me, they don't approve of my behavior. So therefore, there's something wrong with me. And if I can just figure out what's wrong with me and fix it, then maybe I can reestablish that connection. This is called fawning or people pleasing. And so we learn to kind of do and serve and please and appease our parents in an effort to earn or gain their love, attention, attunement, and co-regulation back. We internalize this disconnect as a lack of secure attachment, as a fundamental flaw within ourselves. And so our core beliefs become something like what Gabor Mate says on a YouTube video: my mother wouldn't abandon me unless I did something to upset her. I must figure out what that is and fix it so I can connect with her again. Our egos then develop voices in our heads, which keep us in worrying and trapped in ruminating, catastrophizing, and overthinking. And that mind chatter is simply the ego's way of trying to protect us by telling stories that match the state of our nervous system. So if the state of your nervous system is very frantic and anxious, your thoughts are going to also be frantic and anxious. And that's just the voice in your head confirming the experience that you're having in your body. So we disconnect from our bodies because that's an uncomfortable place to be. We disconnect from our bodies whenever we set aside our own needs in order to please other people, which many of us did as very, very small children. When it comes to listening to our bodies, we have to understand that we have 8 senses, not just 5. So we do have the sense of taste, touch, sight, sound, and smell. We also have a vestibular sense, a proprioceptive sense, and interoception, which is our sense of being able to notice and feel what's happening inside our bodies. When you're listening to your body, you are using the sense of interoception. Without interoception, you would never know when you were hungry or thirsty, or when you needed to use the bathroom, or when you needed to go to sleep. So when you're thirsty, you unconsciously interocept the sense, whatever the feeling in your body of thirst is, whether that's a dry mouth or you feeling hungry or even feeling anxious or dehydrated because your brain fog or whatever. You have a sense that you are thirsty. You interocept, meaning you listen to that sense in your body, and then that signals to you to go hydrate, take a drink of water. Same whenever you need to pee. You have the sensation that you need to pee. You are alerted to that need by the sense of your body. You go and you meet your need to use the bathroom and relieve yourself. So if you have the ability to notice when you're hungry, when you're thirsty, when you're tired, or when you need to pee, then you already have the ability to listen to your body. You may just not know that yet. And you are using the sense of interoception. All of these sensations, the sensation of hunger, the sensation of thirst, the sensation of needing to pee, the sensation of sleepiness or tiredness, are happening through the nervous system. This is how these messages are being sent back and forth from brain to body and body to brain. Some of our sensations alert us to meeting basic survival needs, such as hunger, thirst, sleepiness, tiredness, and the need to use the bathroom. Other sensations alert us to certain emotions that we might feel in our bodies. So, for example, if you have a lump in your throat before you're public speaking, that lump in your throat might be your body's way of saying, hey, this feels unsafe and I feel anxious about this. Or whenever you get embarrassed and your face flushes red, that is an emotional clue that you're feeling humiliated or ashamed or embarrassed, and that's how your body is responding. So sensation is how the body speaks, and interoception is how we listen. The trap, though, is in the mind. The mind loves to come along and create stories and meaning about what we're feeling in our bodies. The mind will pathologize sensation. It will tell us that what we're feeling is wrong or bad. It will tell us that we shouldn't be feeling a certain way or that we should be feeling some other way. It will tell us all kinds of stories. And whenever we are not aware of the stories in our minds, we fall into the trap of disconnection from our bodies. If we believe everything that the voice in our head tells us about our bodies and how uncomfortable and painful it is and how we shouldn't be feeling certain ways, then yeah, that's going to create disconnection because those two things are not congruent. You can't be listening to your body and overriding it at the same time. When you're overriding your body, you're in an unconscious or subconscious ego state. When you're actively listening to your body, you have more access to your intuition, to knowing what you need, what you want, what your desires are, what feels like a yes, what feels like a no. You're going to be much, much more informed about what your body needs and doesn't need. So, in service of teaching you to notice the sensations of your body and to interocept those sensations, I want to teach you a practice that I call somatic listening. So the goals of somatic listening are not to get rid of any sensation that you're feeling in your body, although often when people do this practice, they do experience a sensation that the volume gets turned down or it subsides in some way. But that's not really the goal. The goal is to simply be present, to just notice and feel what's going on in your body while also noticing any stories that the mind is telling you in your head. So here's how you practice somatic listening. Feel free to do this along with me if you'd like. The first thing to do is to really be present in whatever you're doing. This is going to require you to stop, to slow down, maybe to go off to a private place where you can be by yourself and be alone so that you can do this practice fully. So if you need to go to your bedroom or go to the bathroom and shut the door or whatever you need to do, make sure you have private space for this so that you can really get into this practice. The second thing that you're going to want to do is just kind of notice what's going on in your body. And something that I like to do with clients is remind them, because many of us are old enough to remember a show that we used to watch on TV called Miss Frizzle and the Magic School Bus. And when it comes to listening to your body, I feel like sometimes that can become like a really serious thing. And when people are like, okay, body, speak, I'm listening, speak, that can kind of feel like we're putting pressure on our bodies to perform in some way. So we want to take off any pressure to perform or to have some sort of result or outcome and just be open to the process. So if you remember Miss Frizzle and her magic school bus, then you will remember that the school bus could transform into any kind of vehicle in order to take the kids and Miss Frizzle on the field trip. If they were going to outer space, the school bus could transform into a rocket ship. If they were going into the ocean, the school bus could transform into a submarine. So to bring lightness and a little bit of ease and fun into this practice, I want you to imagine that Miss Frizzle and her magic school bus are going on a field trip inside your body. And they're just driving around all over the place until they find a sensation. Any sensation at all is fine. When they find a sensation, the bus is going to park and the kids are going to get out of the bus and they're going to explore this sensation. And that brings us to the second step of somatic listening. As you're exploring whatever sensation you've landed on, I encourage you to place a hand on that part of your body. So for example, if you notice tension in your neck and shoulders, you might want to just hold your neck and shoulders. Or if you notice a headache, you might want to just hold your head. If you notice a tightness, a nauseous feeling, an anxious feeling in your belly, you may just want to place your hands on that part of your body. When you place your hands on this part of your body, you're basically just telling your body, hey, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm not going anywhere. Take as much time as you need. It's safe to listen to my body. It's safe to feel these sensations. I'm okay, even if this is uncomfortable, and I'm here for you. As you're placing your hand on that part of your body, you're going to begin exploring the sensation. And if it helps to imagine little kids running around exploring it, great. If not, also fine. So can you describe that sensation in detail using feeling, sensing words? So the first thing that comes to a lot of people's heads whenever they do this practice for the first time is usually like, I feel anxious, or I feel disrespected, or I feel disappointed, or I feel sad, or I feel angry. And while those feelings are certainly valid, those are not sensing feeling words. Those are emotion words. So, okay, you feel angry. How do you know it's anger? What does that feel like? Okay, you feel anxious. How do you know? What does anxious feel like to you? So some words that you could use to describe these sensations are pulsing, tingling, radiating, hot, cold, vibrating, still, dense, heavy, hollow, empty. You may also close your eyes and see that sensation as a shape, as a color, or even as an animal. So you don't feel the sensation of anger. You feel maybe hotness in your cheeks, tension in the back of your neck or in your muscles, sweating maybe, and your heart feels like it's beating faster. Those are all physiological signs that you are experiencing the emotion of anger. For a lot of my clients, they're not experiencing an emotion in the moment that's related to the present moment. They're often experiencing an emotion that's kind of chronically playing in the background of their lives, and it's almost always rooted in the past. So As you're noticing this sensation, you're placing your hand on the part of your body where this sensation lives. See if you can begin to describe this sensation in as much detail as possible using sensing and feeling words. As you describe this sensation, you may also have that mind chatter voice come up in your head, and that's totally okay and natural. It's very, very normal during this practice for the voice in the head to start creating meaning and stories about whatever it is you're experiencing. The voice in your head may even be creating a story about me and this video, saying that this doesn't work, or how does she even know what she's talking about? If that's what's happening, just let it be there. Just be present with whatever is happening. You can notice and hear the stories in your head without believing them and without taking action on them. As you're holding yourself and describing the sensation and noticing the stories in your head, you may notice that the sensation changes in some way. It may increase in intensity or it may subside. The sensation may become bigger, or it may get smaller, or it may move to a completely different part of your body, or nothing may happen at all. Whatever happens is totally normal and okay, and it doesn't mean anything. And remember, the goal of this practice is not to get rid of the sensation, even if it's really uncomfortable. The goal is simply to notice and feel. You're just listening to your body. You're just showing your body that you're there, that you care, and that you can be present. Sometimes a sensation will feel particularly tight or constrictive. If that's happening, try inhaling and offering breath to that part of your body. For example, if you feel a really tight, constricted feeling in your solar plexus, inhale and send breath into your solar plexus, not to ease the feeling or get rid of it, but to give it some space. It might also be helpful to imagine that the sensation is inside of a balloon and you're just blowing the balloon up around the sensation. Again, to say, here's some space. It's okay to take up space. I'll be here as long as you're here. I'm just noticing everything is safe. Everything is okay. Here's some space. If you remain aware, and probably if you repeat this practice a few times, you may start picking up on more subtle and quiet messages from your body. These messages may feel still and small. They may feel loving. They may feel really resonant with you. When you hear these types of message, your body is telling you what she wants, what she needs, what's bothering her, what nourishes her, what doesn't. And this is a facet of your intuition. This is a way to hear the voice of your higher self. Just notice whatever's happening. Maybe this sensation is your body's way of telling you that you need to change something in your life, telling you that you need to set a boundary, or telling you where you haven't used your voice. Maybe your body is asking for you to feed her more nourishing food, or to move more often, or move in ways that feel more enjoyable. Maybe your body is asking you to have boundaries in a certain relationship, or even end a relationship. I've had clients listen to their bodies and interpret all kinds of messages, from you need to get a different job, I'm not feeling fulfilled or happy at all, to you need to start moving more, I'm feeling weak and sluggish and I desire more exercise. Whatever you hear from your body, you can trust. This is your body's own voice, and you're just listening to it. While you're practicing somatic listening, you may have the urge to move a certain part of your body. You may have the urge to stretch or shake or do something else. Listen to those urges. Let yourself complete whatever movements your body is guiding you to make. You don't have to intellectually understand why your body wants to make these movements. Somatic listening is very much a experiential and embodied process. It's not a logical process. Emotions aren't logical even. So listening to our bodies and what our body's messages are sometimes isn't logical either, and that's okay. It may take several attempts before you intuit messages from your body. And it doesn't mean anything is wrong with you or with your body. It simply means that you've been disconnected from your body for a while, and you've got to keep showing up into the practice consistently without expectations of yourself or of your body. Eventually, your body will start giving you messages and you will be able to interpret them, but you have to show up consistently to the practice. You may often pick up messages from your body that you don't particularly like. She knows what she wants. He knows what he wants. And the body is letting you know, But sometimes what our bodies need requires us to make big changes, and that can often feel really uncomfortable. Again, even if you have a story in your head that says that what your body is asking you to do is scary or uncomfortable, or what if I make a mistake or whatever, you can just notice those voices. You don't have to believe them. So establishing trust and safety within yourself requires listening to your body and then taking proper action in service of what nourishes your body. Your body may ask you to end a relationship, to quit a job, to set some boundaries, go to bed earlier, be outside more often, go for a walk, throw away clutter, get your finances in order, wear different clothing, eat more of a certain food, eat less of another food, experience more pleasure, exercise more or less or differently, start a new hobby, have more fun, etc., etc., etc. All of it is her effort at being profoundly and unapologetically nourished. As you follow your body's lead, your body will open up and trust you more. You will intuit more messages. This process leads to deeper connection with your body. And once you've felt what I'm talking about, once you regularly establish this connection and you're walking around in your body instead of in your head all the time, you won't feel comfortable denying your body ever again. The simple act of bringing your complete, non-judgmental, and curious presence to whatever is happening inside your body is a powerfully nourishing practice. Knowing what your body needs will come, but first, you must listen. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice of somatic listening. I hope that this is helpful for you. I hope this is a practice that you can return to again and again and again. Please stay tuned for the next video in the Nourish Your Nervous System series. We are going to be talking about physical nourishment. Yes, the practical how-to of truly nourishing your physical body. And I'll give you a hint. When you're nourishing your nervous system, you are also nourishing your metabolism. With that, please check out my brand new book, lindseylockett.com/nourish is where you can find Nourish Your Nervous System, a holistic guide to sustainable nervous system regulation and healing. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video. It would be even better if you shared it with someone you love. And thank you so much for being here today. I'll see you on the next video.